Hello everyone, I'm back again with another tutorial. I have recently done a tutorial for magic pillow hexes and another tutorial for no-sew star ornaments. And now I'm going to do a tutorial for a beginner stocking. These are so easy. Anybody can make these, and I'm just going to show you how to make the beginner, easy, friendly version of a stocking. And if there's enough interest, let me know and I can try to link a PDF of the stocking size that I used. And you can elaborate on these stockings any way you want to. You can add cuffs, you can quilt them or not quilt them. You can do patchwork and have just a colorful stocking. You can just do solid. You can add different kinds of fabric like furry cuffs or velvet or anything you want. You can be as creative and you can just let your personality shine through these. If you're interested, please subscribe and like this video and stick around. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm doing 8 stockings, but I'm just going to take one of those and show you what to do if you want to make a stocking. This is a stocking that I just made, and I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm not going to go through the process of quilting this star and inserting that into it. I'm just going to give you a generic, take a stocking front, take a stocking back, line it, put a tab on it to hang, and you've got yourself a stocking. If there's a lot of interest, I would be more than happy to show you how to put this star in the stocking, but I don't have a pattern or anything on how to do that. I just quilt, so I know how to make a sawtooth star here, and I just cut out some pieces and put it in. It was just kind of a wing it until I got it the way that I liked it. But this is how you do that stocking. It's 4 pieces of fabric. So you can make your own template. You can take a stocking that you already own. You can go buy a 99-cent or a $1.25 Dollar Tree stocking. I heard that Dollar Tree is about to up their prices again. I'm pretty sure that Dollar Tree is going to be comparable to Hobby Lobby at this point if they raise their prices again. Okay, so get your template, whatever that is, and you're going to cut a front piece and decide which direction you want it to be. Mine are facing to the left, but you can just cut it to the right. I quilted this. You can see that I have the batting on the back, and I just diagonally quilted this. If you can see, you don't have to do that. I just think it adds a little bit more to the stocking. So you take your fabric front, and then you cut the exact same size in a lining. Now, I'm just using this cream colored muslin fabric. It's not very heavy. It's actually pretty light. And I just cut that out to be the exact same direction and size as my front. Now, obviously, you don't have to have 2 different colors. You can have it the same color. Again, you can do this any way you would like. But if you're going to quilt it, cut your fabric a little bit wider than what you want your size to be, because as you know, when you quilt it, it will eat up, it'll shift so the fabric can eat up some of it for the quilting, and so you're going to need it to be a little oversized. And then take your template, put it back on, and cut a round to make it the exact size that you wanted it to be. If you're not going to quilt and you're just going to use a piece of fabric, no need to do any of that. Just make your lining and your front, or I mean not your lining, your back and your front, the exact same size. And I'm just going to go over to the sewing machine, and I am going to sew this 1/4 inch, and I'll take you over there so that you can watch me do that. So before I start sewing, I'm going to use these Wonder Clips, and I'm just going to put my fabric together. I don't know if you know, these little Wonder Clips have a flat side and a curved side. I didn't really pay attention to that, and I used them for a long time without knowing that. They have the flat side because they have these little marks on the back where you can measure, like if you want 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. I don't do any of that. I don't even care which direction, if I use the flat side or the curved side. But you might be interested in that. So once I put these together so that they're not moving around, I will sew it, starting with a back stitch and ending with a back stitch. I've got a 1/4 inch foot on just to make it easier for me. Okay, just double check and make sure that you have a good 1/4 inch going here. And then I'm going to go over, I think I've mentioned this before, I always use pinking shears on my seams so that they don't fray. You could serge this if you have a serger, you could zigzag stitch if you wanted to do it that way. So here are my pinking shears. I actually just bought some mini pinking shears. I just think they're so cute. I use them with some small bookmarks because I like to just sew the bookmarks out of mini charms. I have a video on that and I will link it below, along with those other 2 videos I mentioned about the tutorials of the no-sew ornaments and the tutorial for the pillowcases. Okay, once I have that done, I am just going to turn my stocking inside out, and I'm going to go over and press it so the seams look nice and flat. This is what it looks like already. It looks just like a stocking, and it was 2 pieces of fabric. So I'm going to iron this. This is my little pressing station. It will just iron out flat with no problem. Okay, nice and ironed. I'm going to go back real quick. Here's my 2 pieces of lining. And I am going to, on the little curved side of the foot, I'm going to stitch down about 3 inches, and then I'm going to leave about a 5-inch gap, and then I'm going to stitch the rest of it. I cut this lining out a 1/4 of an inch bigger than my front and back. If you don't do that, it will end up being a little bit too tight to fit inside. So make sure that you cut this about a 1/4 of an inch larger. So I'm going to sew this right now. Definitely people can use clips or pins right here just kind of to keep it in place. They are very thin and they do not move very much, but just to keep it easier to sew. Back stitch where you're going to leave the opening so that when you flip it, you don't rip any of your stitches out. Back stitch when you begin any of these seams. Okay, so I have stitched the lining. I don't need to do anything except for keep this the exact direction. Don't turn it inside out because you're going to put your stocking inside it that you just sewed, and it's going to be right side to right side of the lining. Make sure you put it in the same direction. So I'm just going to stuff it in here and line up these top seams right here. I'm going to open the seams up. It just keeps the bulk down. So I'm going to open up the lining seam, open up the stocking seam, and put these together. Then I'm going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Open up my lining seam, open up my stocking seam, and put these together. And then when I straighten them out, you can see that they are a nice fit. If you want to put a hanging tab on there, this is my hanging tab. I cut a piece of fabric 2 inches by 6 inches. And then I folded it in half. I pressed it, and then I folded in my raw edges to make this tab, and I sewed down both sides of it. And then I used my pinking shears to cut the ends off so that they would not fray. And I am going to, I should have done this before I did the lining, but I forgot. And so I am going to pop this in really quick on this back side of the stocking, right at the seam. See where I'm placing it? Right at that seam. I'm going to clip it on, and now I am going to sew that. I'm going to secure that on with, I don't know, about 4 back and forths, so that it will be able to hold a lot of fabric. Take off my machine has this little arm, so it makes things a lot easier for me. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch stitch on this hanger. 1. And that is nice and secure. So now I'm going to go ahead and clip on my lining. And I am going to do a 1/2 inch. I'll probably do a 3/8 of an inch. Let me get my right foot over here. And I am going to do, I'm going to do a 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to backstitch when I start sewing. Just double check that you've got this all nice and straight, and I do. So I'm going to reach in where I left that opening, and I'm going to pull my stocking out. I'm going to reach in and pull my little foot out of my lining. Make sure that that is nice and straight on the seams. I'm going to go over and iron that opening and stitch that closed in a minute. This is almost done, as you can see. So let me go over and iron this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have ironed that opening so that I can just make a little stitch in there. So I'm just going to put that in there. Get as close as I can, about 1/8 of an inch back stitch. I'm going to snip my threads on that. And now, any loose threads, this would be the time to get it off. There's a bunch of them stuck to the front of this fabric. And then I'm just going to stuff the lining inside the stocking. Get my top nice and lined up, and I'm going to iron that so that it's crisp and clean seam up here, and you can see my tab is perfect in there. Let me iron this. Okay, so here I go. Now the last step is to top stitch it. I have 2 colors here, so I am going to top stitch the back with my my white thread, and then I'm going to switch my top thread to this red so that I can top stitch this with the white bobbin, and it won't look, it will blend in. So I'm going to start out by doing my back. My white thread, my red. Snip my threads. And I'm going to give it one more press. So here you go. It took about 10 minutes to sew this stocking. If you put the cutting time in, it's about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. to make this incredible stocking that is very, very sturdy. Now, if you quilt it, you're going to add more time on, but a very easy project. I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you.